This is a follow-up to my previous video. First of all, there has been the common claim that the source for Aaronrod's quote of Augustine comes from his book, The Divination of Demons, Chapter 3. This is not correct. The book, which originally cited the divination of demons, is well known for providing false citations, and this citation is no different. There is an English translation of the divination of demons freely available on Google Books. The book is St. Augustine Treatise on Marriage and Other Subjects. Check that source if you do not believe me. Now, I believe my interpretation of St. Augustine may be in error. I'm not 100% sure, but let's assume that I was mistaken in this case. We can still show Aaronrod's premise is incorrect. Many atheists seem to believe that before the age of reason, everyone followed superstitions rather than medical science, and Christianity encouraged that. This seems to be what Aaronrod was arguing in his video. This is clearly an error. In fact, St. Augustine himself, who lived about 400 AD, argued against superstition. He argued in favor of following those who practiced medical science instead, like Hippocrates, who argued that diseases are caused not by gods or superstition, but naturally.
Cicero says that the famous physician Hippocrates has left in writing that he had suspected that a certain pair of brothers were twins from the fact that they both took ill at once, and their disease advanced to its crisis and subsided in the same time in each of them. Posidonius the Stoic, who was much given to astrology, used to explain the fact by supposing that they had been born and conceived under the same constellation. In this question, the conjecture of the physician is by far more worthy to be accepted, and approaches much nearer to credibility, since, according as the parents were affected in body at the time of copulation, so might the first elements of the fetuses have been affected, so that all that was necessary for their growth and development up till birth having been supplied from the body of the same mother, they might be born with like constitutions. Thereafter, nourished in the same house, on the same kinds of food, where they would have also the same kinds of air, the same locality, the same quality of water, which, according to the testimony of medical science, have a very great influence, good or bad, on the condition of bodily health, and where they would also be accustomed to the same kinds of exercise, they would have bodily constitutions so similar that they would be similarly affected with sickness at the same time, and by the same causes.
Here we say St. Augustine attributes diseases to natural causes rather than only to the demons, as Aaronrod suggests. He supports medical science while refuting the superstition of astrology, all while arguing we should trust the opinion of physicians. He does not stop there, however. St. Augustine goes on to argue that superstition is to be condemned in Christianity, and medical science and natural cures, which are shown to be effective, should be supported. It is quite shameful of the amount of deception which has taken place here. St. Augustine was in fact a proponent of science, arguing in favor of the natural causes of disease, and put forward a position of Christianity that superstition should be condemned. How is it that history has become so corrupted by so-called proponents of science and reason that they would portray St. Augustine as following the same error he argued against? Clearly, new atheists are not interested in truth, with the amount of falsehood they perpetuate and the lack of concern thereof.